Thank you, Ms. Chairwoman. Thank you to the guests for showing up today. Many Americans ask me all the time, what is wrong with this country? Why does it appear that we've gone mad? And I think this subcommittee hearing is a testimony to what has actually happened. And I know I hold some beliefs that, they're my own beliefs. They're not everybody's beliefs, but I tell them all the time, this is exactly what happens when you allow God to be pushed out of everything. This is what we're seeing, because God has clearly spoken about this. In Genesis 5:2, he says, I created them male and female. And what's really going on up here in D.C. is just a microcosm of culture. We've lost our minds. We've pushed God out of everything. And it's one of the reasons why it appears that we've gone mad, and one of the reasons we have two beautiful young women here who are here to testify about how they've been abused in sports by biological men. And none of my colleagues on the other side of the aisle have asked you guys a single question. Have you noticed that?
Hey, Patriots. Welcome back to the channel. If you love faith, family, and freedom, you're in the right place. Today, we're going to react to something that's been making waves in D.C. The subcommittee hearing where Congressman Eli Crane from Arizona laid down the truth about what's happening to women's sports in America. Now, I watched the whole thing. I took notes. And let me tell you, what Congressman Crane said absolutely needed to be said. So, let's break it down, and I'll give you my thoughts. No filter, no apologies.
They don't care. They don't hear you. They claim to be the party of women. We got two women sitting right here, and they could care less that you're here. All they want to do is sit here and try and deflect and talk about how we're trying to bully transgender kids, and none of us are trying to do that. As a matter of fact, I feel sorry for a lot of kids that grow up with gender dysphoria. It's hard enough to grow up as it is, let alone taking that on and having to deal with that. But that's not why we're here. They don't want to acknowledge why we're here. We're here to protect young women in women's sports from biological men. You know, most of the men, real men that I know, who came from good families, they were raised to protect women. It's something that we're all taught to do. We have clearly failed to do that as a culture and a society, and this hearing is a testimony to that. I want to ask you, Mr. Layfield, did you grow up in a family where your parents taught you to protect women?
Absolutely, sir. My parents are here with me today, and I'm proud of the lessons that they taught me. They absolutely taught me to protect women.
Great, thank you. Then why aren't you doing that, Mr. Layfield? Why aren't you protecting women? Because we got two sitting right next to you who will tell you that not only are you not protecting them, but you're depriving them from participating in sports and everything that goes along with that. Why aren't you protecting women?
Sir, from a fencing standpoint, it's one of the safest sports in the Olympic movement. I know that, you think swords present some kind of danger.
No, we're not talking about swords. We're talking about biological men, and you know it. Don't try those games with me. We're not talking about swords. We're talking about the fact that you and other men and officials in authority have failed to protect young girls. And it's pathetic. It is pathetic. I'm not going to sit here and try and convince my colleagues on the other side with biology or anything like that, because they're long gone. There's no study that I could show them that would convince them that what they're doing is wrong. I'm asking you, why have you not protected young girls like these two sitting right next to you?
Sir, I believe we have protected young women in fencing. It's one of the
Okay, really, hold on a second. Let's ask the expert witnesses. Ms. Turner, have men like Mr. Layfield protected you?
No.
Are they protecting other young girls from biological men participating in sports?
No, he glorifies it.
Ms. McNabb, are men like Mr. Layfield protecting you and other young women participating in women's sports?
Absolutely not.
Do you feel safe?
No.
You shouldn't, because guess what? God created men and women differently, and I know that this town and many in this culture have a real problem with that, but it is a fact, okay? It's just a fact, and you guys know it. You have permanent injuries for the rest of your life. Is that correct, Ms. Knabb?
That's correct, Congressman.
Evil triumphs when good men and women do nothing. Not only have you done nothing to protect these young women, but you've actually sided with policies that are destructive to young women's sports. You said you have a daughter, Mr. Layfield?
I do, sir.
That's sad, man. That's sad that you wouldn't protect young girls from what's going on in this culture. And it's disgusting to listen to these posts that you yourself posted. I can't believe that you're still the chairman of this organization. I really can't, after hearing some of those posts. Calling parents who are concerned about this type of leadership KKK members, are you serious? Shame on you, bro. I yield back.
The gentleman yields.
First off, Crane asks the big question. What's wrong with this country? Why does it appear we've gone mad? And folks, that's what so many of us are asking every single day. You turn on the TV, you see the news, and it feels like common sense has just evaporated. Why? Because we've pushed God out of everything. Crane's right. Look, I'm a Christian. I believe this country was founded on Judeo-Christian values. We used to pray in schools. We used to honor God in public life. Now we've got activists who want to erase God from the public square entirely. And look at the results. Confusion, chaos, and a country that doesn't know right from wrong anymore. Bingo. Genesis 5 verse 2. Male and female, he created them. It's not complicated, folks. Science agrees with it. The Bible is clear about it. And yet we've got a whole movement in this country trying to say men can become women and women can become men. Sorry, not buying it. It's basic biology. I know some people get mad when you say that, but it's the truth. And I respect Congressman Crane for not backing down, for standing firm on God's word when so many are afraid to. This is the heart of it. Protecting women in sports. Not bullying anyone, just protecting women, as we should. I'm a dad. I've got daughters. I want them to have a fair shot in life. I want them to play sports and compete on a level playing field. If we allow biological men to compete against them, what's the point of women's sports at all? The left always claims to be the party of women, but when it comes time to actually protect women from unfair competition, from losing scholarships, from physical harm, they're nowhere to be found. They're silent, or they're making excuses. That's not standing up for women. That's selling them out for a radical agenda. Crane asks Mr. Layfield, the head of USA Fencing, if he was brought up to protect women. Layfield says yes, but when it comes to action, he fails. That's the problem. We need real men to stand up for women, not just talk about it. You know, I was raised to open doors for women, to look out for my sisters, my mom, my wife. It's not toxic masculinity. It's basic decency. But our culture is trying to erase all of that. And you see the results: women getting hurt, girls losing out, and officials who are too scared to do the right thing. This is where Crane really gets fired up, and I don't blame him. The officials want to talk around the issue, dodge the real question. But we know what's going on. It's not about safety gear or rules. It's about fairness. It's about letting biological men compete against biological women and the damage that's doing. Look at these young women brave enough to testify. They say it plain? No, they don't feel protected. No, the officials aren't doing their job. One of them even says she's got permanent injuries. That breaks my heart, and it should make every American mad. How do we get here, where young women are being ignored, silenced, and even hurt? Also, activists can feel good about themselves. That's not progress. That's regression. Crane closes out strong. Shame on you. And I agree 100%. If you're in a position of power and you refuse to stand up for what's right, you deserve to be called out. That's what real leadership looks like. Listen, folks, this isn't just about sports. It's about the soul of our country. Are we going to stand up for truth, for God, and for our daughters? Or are we just going to go along with whatever the loudest activists demand? I'm proud of Congressman Crane for speaking up. I wish more leaders would do the same. If we don't, we're going to lose not just women's sports, but something much bigger: our common sense, our values, and our future. Let me know what you think in the comments. Should biological men be allowed to compete in women's sports? Are our leaders doing enough to protect women and girls? Sound off below. If you love this country, if you love truth, hit that like button, subscribe, and share this video. We need more patriots to stand up and speak out. Thanks for watching. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America.